Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be focusing on another Silly Symphony. I wanted to focus on this one specifically, Flowers and Trees, because this was the first Technicolor cartoon that Walt Disney did. So even though this is another one that was featured with the mix of 75 Silly Symphonies, this one showed another level of progression and innovation with Walt Disney. This one is another simple plot, but it also is just a very beautiful story, and the animation takes over the simplicity of it. You have a forest that is filled with trees, and they're basically waking up from hibernation. It's a typical damsel in distress story where you have the villain waking up, which, side note, I really like because he has bats flying out of his tree form, and I love bats, so plus for that. And you have your typical beautiful maiden and the hero that is waiting to rescue her. So where she's trying to be an independent tree woman, you can say, she ends up being seduced both by the good guy and this villainous tree, and she's going back and forth being like, oh, I've got this under control and I am a sensual tree form. But she ends up getting captured by the villain tree, and so the hero tree and the villain tree end up sword fighting, but with tree branches. But they're trees, so I don't understand, but okay. So they end up fighting each other, and the villain tries to play some trickery where he ends up losing the first round. He doesn't like that, so he ends up taking this tree branch that he had, which we're just gonna go along with because even though it doesn't make sense logically, it's an animation, so we're not gonna question this, that it's a part of his body. I don't know. I'm not questioning it. He takes a tree branch and he ends up rubbing it enough so it gets lit on fire. He ends up trying to light the whole forest down, but mainly just so it affects the maiden that rejected him and the hero. And the whole forest does temporarily go into flames and you see it spreading, but they also start attacking on the villain himself, so he ends up getting caught up in the fire. And the birds come to the rescue by going up into the clouds. They end up poking a hole through the clouds, which makes it rain, and the fire disappears. And it's a happy ending overall. The hero proposes to the maiden, even though he didn't really save her, it was the birds, so the birds should be the ones that have saved the day, but the hero is taking the credit for it. And he proposes to the maiden with a caterpillar ring, and she says yes. And they have a wedding, and it's happily ever after for the trees. So overall, it is a very enjoyable animation. It is beautifully drawn, and the music goes well with it. Because of how simple it is, it does work really well. And you're just focusing on how gorgeous the animation is with the music, and it's a good match, it really is. So if you guys want to check it out below, let me know what you think. As always, the link is going to be in the description for this. And otherwise, it's just a simple cartoon. There's really not that much more to be said for it. But as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.